Hello everybody and welcome to another amazing video of DIY investing. The market is breaking out and we are seeing everything going according to plan. We've been following this bullish scenario for many months, ever since Bitcoin first flipped 25K, and now that we're starting to see this new high, Bitcoin's rocketing over $43,000. This is exactly what we needed to see for the altcoins to start picking up as well. Many altcoins are already breaking out. ETH is now breaking out of its ascending triangle that is over 530 days worth of an accumulation pattern. Everything is so bullish, and I'm going to be breaking down exactly what it means moving forward and how we can be positioned to make the most profit when the rest of this breakout sets in. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, and with that being said, let's jump right into this amazing video today. Alrighty guys, here we are to start off today's video, and as you guys can see, Bitcoin is absolutely rocketing upwards towards this resistance. This is the most bullish scenario we could have possibly ever had for Bitcoin. It's followed according to plan perfectly. The only difference was I wasn't quite expecting 200 days worth of an accumulation going sideways once we flipped 25K. But nonetheless, it's not any real difference besides the fact that this cycle is going to just take time to develop. And that's something we always have to remember, is the fact that Bitcoin is going to be slow. It's going to be methodical as it takes its time to accumulate. But once it starts going, we see that it obviously picks up quick. So seeing Bitcoin rocketing up like this is a very encouraging sign because it gives total confirmation that the bull market is in. If anybody was ever doubting, I talked a lot about why there was really no reason to be. We knew that the bull market was in when we actually flipped this descending resistance as support, right? When we broke out right here, right before the FTX collapse. And that was really what was giving me confidence that even during the FTX collapse, it was still a good opportunity to get in because, we were still outside of that descending resistance. Even though it was a lower low, we were retesting that as new support. And so to see us hold, that was really where we were getting the early signals of a reversal. Now, what ended up happening shortly after was we went straight back up to the range high of this lower high, basically being in the August high at 25K. We went straight up to that level, consolidated below that. And then the second that we were actually able to get a breakout above that level, being in the early spring of this year, that was where we really knew that the confirmation was in, that we had successfully made a higher high. Now, it took a long time. We spent a lot of months consolidating on top of this level, but the fact is we never consolidated back below. We always held it as new support. So not only was that a breakout from all descending resistance, but it also made a new high in the process. So we had two different signals of confirmation telling us that the new bull market was in. So to see us actually breaking out again, it gives me a lot of confidence that this is only kind of the beginning of this new bull market. And if you're still somebody that's bearish, there's no helping you because this is really every confirmation that we needed to see. So with that, I do think that there's going to be a lot more money actually coming into the rest of the markets. Even though Bitcoin's coming at resistance, if this is the institutional cycle, don't be surprised if Bitcoin outprices people in a more significant way moving forward from here. I'm not trying to predict the price, especially below all-time highs. I'm always focused on what happens into new all-time highs, and that's always been the primary goal. I'm not worried about anything pre-halving besides accumulation. And so as we're getting up towards this resistance, I just think that everybody's better off. If you're really up a lot in something that was more of a short-term thing, take some profits for sure. But anything that you chose for a long-term hold, keep it as a long-term hold and don't mess with that stuff. Now, coming over here and looking at Ethereum, Ethereum is doing the exact same thing that we pretty much have been watching for, a breakout of the ascending triangle. We've been consolidating on this ascending support for 530 days, and we've now successfully broken from basically the range highs as well. We've made a new high in the process. So ETH is currently sitting at just under 2,300, and as it stands right now, we've successfully broken out from all horizontal resistance. But then something interesting is if we come and look at our major descending resistance as well, that also was where we just ended up flipping it right here. So we not only have broken from all horizontal resistance, we've broken from all descending resistance as well. So this is a double signal, I guess you could say. It's just got more power to it. It's just got more strength to the signal because of the fact you have two converging points of interest. Now that we've successfully broken out and made a new high, I do believe that this points us towards ETH coming back up to the tops of this resistance up here, being like 32, basically 3,300 to 3,600. Those are the two levels that I would be watching for next. This is a very, very, very significant breakout because of the length of time that we've spent accumulating inside of this ascending triangle. Now that we're breaking out from this resistance, this is really where you're going to expect to see a lot of markup. And I honestly think that ETH is going to end up coming all the way up to the top of this lower high, being 3,600. It's going to be a very profitable time, and this is really all, signal that we needed to see if the new bull market has came in. Not only is it broken from descending resistance, but it's broken and successfully made a new high in the process as well, right? Whereas Bitcoin has kind of already made a new high. It had been consolidating above 25K for a long time. Now that Bitcoin has broken out and even confirmed that, ETH is finally just confirming its first high. So we're going to be looking to see a lot more confirmation in the market. A lot of altcoins are still significantly undervalued, sitting at very low levels in their cycles. And so you're still early relatively, but this is the point where you're kind of getting priced out if you're still waiting on the sidelines. At this point, you really need to be getting in if you're going to, because of the fact the market is most definitely about to leave most people behind. Now, the next one we wanted to look at here is Dogecoin. And the reason we're looking at Dogecoin is because if we're looking at what's the staple of altcoin money, it doesn't get really more, definitive than Dogecoin in my opinion, because when we're looking at Dogecoin doing well, it shows that there's a lot of confidence back in the altcoin market because nobody really cares about Dogecoin. It really doesn't do anything. Occasionally Elon Musk might talk about it, but for the most part, it's just there as a meme. Now, because of the fact it's just a meme, the only real people that end up buying it are people that are either making money off their Bitcoin and Bitcoin wells, and they're cycling that back and rotating it into Dogecoin to make money that way, or it's just people, retail investors that start seeing Bitcoin taking off and they think, oh man, I need to buy, Dogecoin that's worth da-da-da-da-da. So we only see the shift happen in Dogecoin when the money starts to set in, when the market really starts to go bullish. Dogecoin has the most obvious market cycle in my opinion, and it just looks really, really, really good. It looks a lot like 2015 Bitcoin. And if we come over here and actually pull up Bitcoin, let's just go and take a look at it so that you guys know exactly what I'm talking about. 2015 Bitcoin looks pretty much the same as Dogecoin today. It's just a little bit more volatile than Dogecoin. But I mean, the same sort of long-term market cycle that we ended up seeing, in my opinion, is pretty much the same consolidation. The blow-off top was 100% the same. The bear market was pretty much the same. Now, this consolidation and this consolidation are similar. The only difference is Dogecoin has spent twice the amount of time inside of its bottom formation as what Bitcoin did in that last cycle. So I just think that that's something to keep in mind of. Bitcoin spent 280 days in its bottom. Dogecoin has spent over 530 days in its bottom. So the significance of the breakout, in my opinion, will be more according to like this up here, because the lower high of the bottom is all the way up here, right? And that's why I think the Dogecoin is so undervalued right now. It's sitting, the lower high is sitting at like 16 cents approximately, basically there. And so we've been consolidating below this. Now that Dogecoin is finally starting to make higher highs, it's breaking out, and we've successfully made a new high above this one. I think that we're about to see a much bigger move. And like I stated, guys, if ETH is now breaking out and making a new high and also clearing the resistance of his ascending a triangle, then we're looking at Dogecoin to be having some of that profit rotate back into it as well. And it makes sense why it's actually starting to look good. We're still in the early stages. I've been talking about this a lot. In my group, we have actually been accumulating this one with low leverage longs. And I've talked a little bit about why I think that those are some of the great things that you can do. Leverage is dangerous for people that don't understand risk to reward, that don't understand how to position themselves. All we're doing is low leverage, because at the end of the day, it's not very risky at all. And it allows us to, use small portions of portfolio and be able to maximize it a little bit more. And when you're buying things at these major cycle lows, you can hold on to those positions for quite a few months. And when they make big breakouts, you just kind of slowly scale out of those. You could keep a portion that you just sit on long term to see what it turns into. But regardless, guys, that was how I made a good amount of profit. Longing Chainlink in the last cycle, longing Cardano at 5 cents in its bottom at the last cycle. That was all really profitable setups for me, and it was very, very, very minimal risk, like $500 to $1,000 tops. So looking at this cycle, we've been doing the same thing with Dogecoin because I just don't think you get more obvious setups like this. You know, I mean, Ethereum was pretty obvious in this big ascending triangle that we've been in forever. But at the end of the day, a lot of altcoins are going to be setting up in these big ways. It doesn't have to be Dogecoin, but if Dogecoin is starting to break out, that means that there's going to be a lot more money filtering back into those altcoins as well. I think that this is the moment where we're going to see kind of our first little alt run of the cycle. And it's going to be interesting to see how Bitcoin is going to hold up, because what we've been talking about a little bit has been Bitcoin coming back up to this resistance up here and pulling back. So I'm still watching for that same exact sort of thing. The only difference is I'm just wondering how the market is going to consolidate, because ETH is now finally broken out from its resistance. One of the things that is interesting with Bitcoin is the fact that it has outpaced the market for so long, and we would be expecting some type of a shift in that money, right? Because one of the things we've been looking at has been the Bitcoin dominance, and that's going to be where we're knowing when the true shift is taking place. And as you guys can tell, we're actually starting to see, you know, another high, kind of what we talked about in one of my prior videos. This is coming straight up towards this resistance. And so what I'm really watching for is the moment Bitcoin is probably going to start underperforming and altcoins are going to start outperforming is whenever Bitcoin reaches this descending resistance. So we still have a little bit of more upside to go before we're at that exact point. You know, I think that's going to be around 56% dominance is that major descending resistance. And from there, we really want to see that hold as resistance so that the shift can actually take place in the altcoins. But I don't find it coincidental that as Bitcoin has made such a big move upwards and it's approaching that major descending resistance, that it's happening right when ETH is breaking out of its major descending resistance. It's making its first high of the new bull market. And Dogecoin is just approaching kind of its first stages of making a new high as well. So I don't find it coincidental. I think that it's ultimately an early sign that we're about to see that market shift. We're about to see the momentum come back into the altcoins. And it usually happens once Bitcoin's made a pretty sustained move to begin its new cycle. And like we've talked about, guys, there doesn't need to be more confirmation. We've broke out from all major descending resistance. We've successfully made a new higher high. We've been riding on this new trend line for forever and ever, just growing on this new cycle. So to see it do all of what we're doing right now, it gives us a lot of confidence going into the next cycle. The only question is how Bitcoin behaves around this resistance moving forward. So anyways, guys, this is the video I had for you. If you did find value in this, leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on any of these videos. If you guys do want to actually see how I'm investing my money going over this cycle, any altcoins I'm buying, selling, trading, NFTs, things like that, links are in the description to go ahead and check out my website and sign up for my group. One-time payment, lifetime access. You guys will always have access to anything I'm doing inside of there no matter what. Anything outside of crypto, anything jumping into uranium markets, because that's something that I've really been looking heavily into. There's a lot of really profitable setups outside of crypto. So anything you guys want to see, even in crypto, links are in the description to see and sign up below. Thank you guys so much. And with that being said, I will catch you in the next one. As always, peace out.